They've made some mass changes. Young halfback, Gornsky scapegoated after 2 games, which I hate. We see 2 pretty handy forwards coming back in with some pretty decent runs on the board. Do you think Todd Payten's panicked, or this is the team he should have named from round 1?
Well, Tamalolo came out himself and said that he needed a week in reserve grade. And when you look through the stat line, he 100% needed it. He had I wouldn't say Barry Crockett, but he had a rough game against Townsville. And I'll give you a little bit of a tip here, Dan. James Tarmo bodied him.
That would have been good 5 years ago.
Like, Tarmo had 160 metres, a couple of tackle breaks and offloads. Tamalolo barely cracked a ton.
Do you think he went up there with just get some footy under your legs, or do you reckon he was told, go out there and make a statement? Because a statement should have been made.
Like, you look at it that way, you're 100% right, but at the same time, this is a bloke that hasn't played any trials. Pre-season reps have been pretty minimal. I think there's a bit of both in that. I think at the same time, he would have seen the performance the Cowboys dished out on Saturday night and gone, hang on, here's a real chance for me to make a claim here. Tom McHaley in a very similar boat, obviously not named this week, but he would have been in a similar mindset. Jeremiah Nene on the bench. If we questioned his impact with the ball in hand in the starting role, like he had 2 runs in the first round of the season against Manly, what's the realistic prediction we have for Nene and his production off the bench? That's the only question I have with this move.
What if they're 20-0 down when he comes on? They're playing the Broncos. There's every chance they will be.
Like, Nene last week in reserves he was energetic, but he didn't stand out either. Jake Clifford had 7 errors.
That's not what you want to see for the bloke that's coming in as a saviour.
7 errors, 5 of them handling errors. But again, that's another bloke who had an impacted pre-season. Nene only missed 3 tackles, had an offload, 106 metres, a line break assist, and 1 tackle break in 80 minutes of football.
It's not all good in reserve grade. You expect these blokes to go back and just kapow. Well, I hate to make it about Newtown, but last year we saw Toby Rudolph and Braden Hamlin-Ueli drop back to reserve grade. They both ran for record metres, but I think Ueli scored 2 tries. Colhoun was the other one. They had a 1-2-3 punch that no team in the competition was going to match. All 3 had a rocket, and all 3 got picked the next week.
Look at the Roosters start as well. Like, the Roosters started the year with Egan Butcher, Connor Watson, Angus Crichton in reserve grade.
Yeah, I get the message, and I like it from Payten that he's not saying, "Oh, close enough's good enough," but he's blooded this young halfback and said, "You're the guy." Now, yeah, it's coming out that Clifford was impacted, but with the greatest respects to Clifford, it's not like he's Pete Cooper Cronk. Tom Dearden's looked awful. He could do with a week in Queensland Cup. I don't like the fact they dumped the halfback, but they had to bring those forwards back, so I get that. It just feels like panic stations in round 3.
They couldn't have started the year any worse, to be honest. And I look at Jordan McLean. He looks like he's aged about 5 years in one off-season. Griffin Nemers was a New Zealand international forward that the Cowboys were facing stiff competition to retain. Cohen Hess has looked more likely of any forward in this team, and he's coming back off an ACL.
Cohen Hess has looked like a monster. He came out and put Cronulla on the back foot for the first time the other night.
Yeah, I think John Bateman's been okay. Like, he hasn't played bad. He's ran over 100 metres. He's made his tackles well. Cotter's looked a little bit underwhelming, but when their pack is being bodied, and their pack has been destroyed to start the year, and then on the other side of it, Robson hasn't had the opportunities to dart out a dummy half. Then that means the halves have 0 to work with, and then you have an outside back core that has struggled to look into games. Like, they bring in Robert Darby for Braden Burns this week, but from all reports, great with the ball, but he's a bit like Marju and Skelton. He can't defend.